What if plastic was never invented? Have you ever imagined a world without plastic? A once revolutionary invention that brought unparalleled convenience to human life has now become a nightmare for the planet. Billions of tons of plastic waste are flooding the oceans, poisoning the environment, and killing marine life. But if plastic had never been invented, would our lives be better? What would we lose, and what would we save? Let's explore this scenario now. When plastic was first invented in the 19th century and mass-produced in the 20th century, it was hailed as one of humanity's greatest breakthroughs. Lightweight, durable, flexible, and inexpensive, plastic quickly became an essential part of industries, healthcare, and everyday life. But no one foresaw that this seemingly miraculous material would eventually turn into an environmental disaster. Each year, the world produces over 400 million tons of plastic, a significant portion of which ends up polluting the environment. The most alarming fact is that plastic does not biodegrade like natural materials. A single plastic bag can take 500 to 1.000 years to break down into microplastics. These microscopic plastic particles don't disappear but instead infiltrate our oceans, soil, air, and even the food and water we consume daily. The most visible impact of plastic pollution is on the oceans. Every year, 8 to 12 million tons of plastic waste enter the sea, forming massive garbage islands, the most infamous being the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is 3 times the size of France. Floating plastic debris becomes a deadly trap for marine life. Over 100,000 marine animals and 1 million seabirds die each year due to entanglement or ingestion of plastic. Whales, sea turtles, and seabirds like albatrosses are among the most tragic victims of plastic waste. Many whales have been found washed ashore with dozens of kilograms of plastic in their stomachs, causing them to starve due to digestive blockages. Sea turtles often mistake plastic bags for jellyfish, their favorite food. Once swallowed, the plastic obstructs their intestines, leading to pain and a slow, agonizing death. Seabirds, too, pick up small plastic fragments, mistaking them for food, and unknowingly feed them to their chicks, poisoning the next generation from birth. Plastic pollution is not just an environmental crisis, it directly affects human health. Microplastics have been found in human blood, lungs, and even breast milk, raising serious concerns about their long-term health effects. So, what can we do to prevent this catastrophe? If plastic had never been invented, would the world really be better off? Plastic is one of the fastest-growing materials in human history. Since the 1950s, global plastic production has exploded, reaching a staggering 6.3 billion tons. The alarming fact is that most of it still exists somewhere on Earth. According to statistics, only 9% of all plastic ever produced has been recycled, meaning less than 1/10 of it is reused. 12% has been incinerated, generating energy but also releasing toxic gases and carbon dioxide, contributing to climate change. The remaining 4.9 billion tons have been discarded into the environment. If we could gather all this plastic waste into one place, it would form a massive mountain taller than Mount Everest, the world's highest peak. But instead of being confined to one location, this plastic waste is scattered across the planet, from giant landfills in urban areas to the ocean floor and even remote regions like the Arctic and the Amazon rainforest. Plastic waste is not just on the surface, it has infiltrated every ecosystem. Scientists have discovered microplastics in Antarctic snow, in melting glaciers, in the deepest parts of the ocean, and even in the air we breathe daily. The biggest problem with this overwhelming amount of plastic waste is that it is nearly impossible to break down naturally. A single plastic bottle takes 450 years to fully degrade. Even when it breaks into smaller pieces, plastic remains in the form of microplastics, continuing to harm wildlife and ecosystems. The consequences of plastic accumulation extend beyond oceans and animals. Humans are now becoming victims of their own creation. Microplastic particles are carried by the wind, infiltrate water sources, and enter the food chain. On average, A person unknowingly consumes or inhales around 50,000 microplastic particles per year. Plastic was once a symbol of convenience, but now it has become a massive burden on our planet. We created it, and now we must face the consequences. Is there a way to manage this colossal plastic waste problem? Or are we pushing Earth toward an irreversible future? Looking out at the vast, deep blue ocean, you might think of it as an endless, boundless world, but beneath that calm surface, a crisis is unfolding. A silent tragedy that takes the lives of millions of marine creatures every year. Plastic waste doesn't just float on the surface, it also becomes deadly traps beneath the ocean. Each year, approximately 8 to 12 million tons of plastic waste end up in the ocean, the equivalent of a truckload of plastic being dumped into the sea every minute. This massive amount of waste doesn't just drift aimlessly, it accumulates into giant, garbage islands. Most notably the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which spans more than 1.6 million square kilometers, 3 times the size of France. For marine life, plastic is not just a foreign object but an invisible threat. More than 700 species have been documented as being affected by plastic pollution. Abandoned fishing nets, plastic cords, and plastic bags become invisible traps underwater. Sea turtles get entangled, unable to move. Whales get stuck in ghost nets and slowly die from exhaustion. Seals and dolphins suffer from plastic rings or fishing lines tightening around their necks, leading to injuries, infections, and ultimately death as they become unable to hunt or swim properly. Whales and dolphins. Many stranded whales have been found with dozens of kilograms of plastic in their stomachs. Unable to digest or expel it, they starve to death despite having a full stomach. Sea turtles. Mistaking plastic bags for jellyfish, their favorite food, turtles swallow them, leading to choking or intestinal blockages that result in a slow and painful death. Seabirds. 90% of seabirds worldwide have been found with plastic in their stomachs. Chicks are unknowingly fed microplastic-laden food by their parents, often leading to death before they even reach adulthood. Large plastic debris isn't the only issue. As plastic breaks down, it turns into tiny microplastics that infiltrate every corner of the ocean. Plankton ingest these microplastics, which then pass up the food chain, from small fish to larger predators and eventually to humans. If you eat seafood, chances are you are also unknowingly consuming plastic. Research shows that an average person ingests around 5 grams of microplastic per week, the equivalent of eating a credit card. If this trend continues, by 2050, the amount of plastic in the ocean could outweigh the fish. Marine ecosystems would collapse, triggering a global ecological imbalance. As marine species vanish, one of humanity's key food sources will also be severely threatened. Plastic is killing the ocean, but humanity holds the power to decide its fate. Will we continue to ignore this crisis? Or will we take action before it's too late? Imagine a world without plastic. Imagine waking up in a world without plastic. You wouldn't be able to turn on the lights because electrical wires need plastic insulation. You couldn't check your phone since most of its internal components are made of plastic. Stepping into the bathroom, you'd realize that your toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo bottles, and even the shower head all contain plastic. Heading outside, you wouldn't be able to ride a motorcycle or drive a car, hundreds of parts. From electrical wiring, coatings, interiors, to fuel tanks, rely on plastic. Plastic has infiltrated every aspect of human life. From food, fashion, medicine, technology, to transportation, we depend on plastic far more than we realize. Try shopping without using plastic, you'll find it nearly impossible. Most food is wrapped in plastic bags, stored in plastic containers, plastic bottles, plastic wraps, and plastic cups. Plastic helps preserve food longer, preventing bacteria, moisture, and maintaining freshness. Without plastic, food storage time would decrease significantly, leading to a dramatic increase in food waste. Polyester, nylon, acrylic, some of the most common fabrics today, are all derived from plastic. They make clothes more durable, lightweight, water-resistant, wrinkle-free, and quick drying. Without plastic, we would rely solely on cotton, wool, silk, and hemp, materials that are more expensive and harder to maintain. Phones, computers, TVs, refrigerators, washing machines, all use plastic. Without plastic, the tech industry wouldn't have advanced as it has today. Plastic insulation ensures electrical safety. Without it, we would still rely on rubber, ceramics, or lacquer to coat wires, costlier and less efficient alternatives. Syringes, IV tubes, medical gloves, pacemakers, blood bags, endoscopes, and diagnostic devices all require plastic. Without plastic, the medical field would face a major crisis. Medical tools would become more expensive, harder to sterilize, and less effective at saving lives. From car seats, dashboards, fuel tanks, wire coatings to helmets, plastic makes transportation lighter, more durable, and fuel efficient. Without plastic, vehicles would be significantly heavier, consume more fuel, and become more expensive while causing greater pollution. Plastic brings convenience, efficiency, and affordability, but the price we pay is severe environmental pollution. Every day, we dispose of millions of tons of single-use plastic, yet it takes hundreds of years to decompose. If we want to reduce our dependence on plastic, we must find more sustainable alternatives. But this is no simple task. The question is, can we live without plastic? Or can we only learn to use plastic more wisely? Imagine going to a supermarket without any plastic around. No plastic bags, no plastic containers, no plastic wrap. Bottles of soda, milk, and juice are stored in glass. Meat, fish, cheese, and vegetables are wrapped only in paper or banana leaves. What do you think will happen? Food will spoil faster. Food waste will increase significantly. Storage and transportation costs will become much higher. Plastic is not just a packaging material, it is a technology that extends the shelf life of food, reduces waste, and limits food contamination. Without plastic, the global food industry would face a major crisis. Plastic provides water resistance and prevents air, bacteria, and microorganisms from coming into contact with food, keeping it fresh longer. If we only use paper or wrap food in leaves, moisture and bacteria will easily penetrate, causing food to rot quickly. A piece of beef left unwrapped in normal conditions can spoil within a day. With vacuum-sealed plastic packaging, meat can stay fresh for weeks without chemical preservatives. Without plastic, all food would have to be stored in glass, metal, or paper, making transportation extremely difficult. Glass bottles are heavy and breakable. Metal cans are prone to corrosion, and paper cannot store food long-term. A study by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, found that over 30% of global food is wasted, largely due to a lack of effective preservation methods. Without plastic, food waste would increase dramatically, leading to severe economic and environmental consequences. If plastic disappeared, we would have to return to traditional preservation methods such as using glass or metal. Glass bottles can store water and beverages but increase transportation weight. Wrapping food in paper or leaves. These do not provide good water resistance and are easily torn. Salting, drying, or freezing. These methods have been used for centuries but alter food flavors and require significant energy. Although plastic causes pollution, it undeniably makes our lives more convenient and safe. Instead of eliminating it entirely, we must find ways to recycle and use plastic more wisely, avoiding unnecessary plastic waste and developing more eco-friendly materials. Do you think the world can function without plastic? Or should we find a balanced approach between convenience and environmental protection? Imagine a world without plastic. You wouldn't be able to use your phone, computer, or even your TV. The electronics industry would be frozen in its early stages. Why? Because plastic is a core material that has driven technological advancement. Plastic is not just the outer casing of devices, it is also a crucial insulating material that protects circuits and electronic components. Without plastic, technology would remain stuck in the 1800s. when electrical wires were still insulated with flammable rubber, and modern microchip components didn't exist. Before plastic, electrical wires were primarily insulated with natural rubber, which decomposed easily and couldn't withstand high temperatures. Synthetic plastics like PVC, polyvinyl chloride, revolutionized electrical insulation, providing better protection, fire resistance, durability, and affordability. From motherboards and capacitors to device casings, high-tech plastics are used to ensure safety and longevity. Without plastic, we would have to rely on wood, metal, or glass, making devices bulky, fragile, and extremely expensive. Silicone, the primary material in computer chips, is protected by special plastic coatings. Without plastic, modern computers, smartphones, and even the internet wouldn't exist. Plastic shields electrical wiring and equipment from short circuits and fire hazards, especially in industrial and residential settings. Power sockets, switches, transformer casings, all require plastic for safe operation. If there were no plastic, the electronics industry would have to rely on metal, ceramics, or natural rubber for insulation. But metal is not a good insulator and is very expensive. Ceramics provide good insulation but are brittle and difficult to manufacture. Natural rubber is not durable and degrades over time. Imagine a phone without plastic. The screen would be encased in wood or metal, making it extremely bulky. Electrical wires would be wrapped in fabric or natural rubber, making them highly flammable and less durable. Electronic components would be 5 to 10 times larger, making computers as bulky as those from the 1940s. It is undeniable that plastic plays a crucial role in modern industries, especially in electronics. Without it, we wouldn't have computers, phones, the internet, or even a safe electrical grid. However, plastic also creates a major problem: electronic waste and plastic pollution. Therefore, instead of eliminating it completely, we need to find ways to recycle and develop more environmentally friendly plastics. What do you think would happen if one day plastic no longer existed in the industry? Could technology advance without relying on plastic? Or would we find an optimal alternative material? Imagine a world without plastic. No plastic bags caught in tree branches. No plastic bottles floating in the ocean. And no massive landfills filled with billions of tons of non-degradable plastic waste. It could be an environmental paradise where ecosystems are protected, and marine life is no longer threatened by plastic waste. But would a world without plastic truly be a dream come true? Let's explore the immense benefits if plastic had never existed. Plastic is one of the leading causes of environmental pollution. Since its invention in the early 20th century, humanity has produced over 6.3 billion tons of plastic, with only 9% being recycled, while the rest remains in nature for centuries. If plastic didn't exist, we would not have to deal with plastic oceans, like the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which spans over 1.6 million square kilometers. Reduce land and water pollution, as plastic waste doesn't fully decompose but breaks down into microplastics. Eliminate microplastics from the food chain, which are now infiltrating water sources, seafood, and even the human body. According to a United Nations report, more than 700 marine species are affected by plastic pollution, including whales, sea turtles, seabirds, corals, and many types of fish. If plastic didn't exist, sea turtles would no longer die from swallowing plastic bags, mistaking them for jellyfish. Whales wouldn't be found with dozens of kilograms of plastic in their stomachs, causing them to starve or suffocate. Seagulls and other seabirds wouldn't ingest small plastic fragments, which block their intestines and lead to death. Not only animals but humans would also avoid indirectly consuming microplastics through seafood. Protecting long-term health. Plastic affects not only animals but also devastates terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. Forests, rivers, and oceans would no longer be clogged with plastic waste, allowing plants to thrive. Coral reefs wouldn't be suffocated by plastic bags or abandoned fishing nets, preserving vibrant marine biodiversity. Soil and water quality would improve. free from toxic chemicals released by degrading plastic. If plastic didn't exist, human life would also change for the better environmentally. Fabric bags, paper bags, and woven baskets would replace plastic bags, reducing household waste. Glass bottles and metal containers would replace single-use plastic bottles, offering long-term reuse. The fashion industry would limit synthetic fibers like polyester, reducing microplastic pollution from clothing. Additionally, people would live in a cleaner, less polluted environment, significantly reducing diseases linked to plastic-related chemicals. Plastic is causing an environmental crisis. But is eliminating it completely the ideal solution? In reality, completely ending plastic use could lead to major challenges. Less effective food preservation, increasing spoilage and food waste. Plastic helps keep food fresh, while paper and glass may not meet these needs. Higher production costs, as alternative materials like glass, metal, and bioplastics are more expensive, potentially raising product prices significantly. Difficulties in many industries, especially technology and healthcare, where plastic is essential in medical devices, electronic circuits, and many other crucial applications. The solution is not to eliminate plastic entirely but to use it more responsibly, focusing on reducing, reusing, and recycling. At the same time, we must accelerate research on environmentally friendly alternative materials, reducing dependence on plastic without disrupting modern life. A world with less plastic, rather than no plastic, is the most sustainable path forward. If plastic disappeared, Earth would certainly be cleaner. Hundreds of species would be saved, and humans would avoid many health risks from microplastics. However, plastic also plays a vital role in modern life. So, what can we do? Use plastic wisely, reduce single-use plastics, recycle more, and seek sustainable alternatives. That is the true path to protecting the environment while still benefiting from plastic's advantages. As plastic pollution worsens, many countries are taking bold steps to reduce their reliance on plastic. From banning plastic bags to researching organisms that can break down plastic. The world is gradually moving toward a less polluted future. But are these solutions truly effective? Some countries have banned or restricted plastic bags. Kenya, the country with the world's strictest plastic bag ban. Since 2017, Kenya has completely banned plastic bags. Violators can face fines of up to $4 or 4 years in prison. Result: a significant reduction in plastic waste, cleaner streets, and improved ecosystems. Bangladesh, the first country to ban plastic bags. Bangladesh became the first country in the world to ban plastic bags in 2002 after discovering that they clogged drainage systems, causing severe floods. Thanks to the ban, plastic bag usage has dropped significantly, encouraging people to use cloth bags, palm leaf bags, and paper bags instead. Other countries are following suit. France, Italy, and India have also implemented partial or complete bans on plastic bags. The European Union, EU, aims to completely ban single-use plastics by 2030. Vietnam is working toward eliminating single-use plastic bags by 2030 and promoting environmentally friendly alternatives. Banning plastic bags is a strong measure, but real change requires shifts in consumer habits and viable alternatives. A groundbreaking discovery. Nature may have a solution to plastic pollution. Wax worms, the creatures that can digest plastic. Scientists have discovered that wax worms can consume polyethylene, the most common plastic found in shopping bags and plastic bottles. A 2017 study revealed that 6.000 wax worms could eat an entire plastic bag in just 1 hour. During digestion, the worms break plastic down into simpler compounds, potentially offering a natural way to reduce plastic pollution. How do wax worms break down plastic? Wax worms possess special enzymes in their digestive systems that help break down the chemical structure of plastic. Researchers are now studying how to replicate these enzymes, hoping to develop an efficient plastic waste treatment technology. If successful, this breakthrough could help combat plastic pollution. transforming plastics into biodegradable compounds without taking hundreds of years. Alternatives to plastic. A sustainable future. Aside from banning plastic bags and using wax worms, many companies and scientists are seeking eco-friendly plastic alternatives. Bioplastics, the future of packaging? Plastics made from cornstarch, sugarcane, or seaweed can naturally degrade within months. Major corporations like Coca-Cola, Nestlé, and Unilever are testing bioplastic packaging to reduce plastic waste. Self-decomposing bags, a retail revolution. Bags made from cassava or rice powder can dissolve in water without polluting the environment. Many supermarkets in Thailand and Indonesia have already started replacing plastic bags with biodegradable alternatives. Plastic-free packaging, unique solutions. Beeswax wraps can replace plastic food wrap, keeping food fresh safely. Straws made from grass, bamboo, or rice flour are gradually replacing plastic straws in the food service industry. These solutions not only protect the environment but also offer long-term economic benefits by reducing reliance on petroleum-based plastic production. Finding alternatives to plastic is no easy task. But with current advancements, we are making steady progress toward a more sustainable world. Banning plastic bags helps reduce direct pollution. Wax worms could open new possibilities for plastic waste treatment. Biodegradable materials and alternative packaging can reduce plastic waste from the source. A world entirely without plastic may not be realistic, but a world with less plastic and smarter plastic use is definitely achievable. Are you ready to change your habits to help protect the environment? Plastic has changed the world in both positive and negative ways. If plastic had never been invented, the environment might be cleaner, the oceans unpolluted, and countless marine species would not suffer from plastic entanglement or ingestion. However, humanity would also face numerous challenges, from food preservation and technological advancements to medical care. So what is the best solution? Not eliminating plastic entirely, but using it more wisely. If we become more conscious about reducing, recycling, and developing sustainable alternatives, we can continue benefiting from plastic without paying the environmental price. What do you think? Would a world without plastic be better? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this content useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support us in bringing more exciting topics.